we are doing the chapter decimals, right? So first, let us discuss some important points from our previous class. What is decimal number? So decimal fractions with 10, 100, 1000 in the denominator can be represented as a decimal number. For example, we can write 3 by 10 as 0.3. 462 by 1000 can be written as 0.462. So these are decimal numbers. Next, mixed decimals. So a mixed decimals contains a whole number and the decimal part. For example, 99.43, here 99 is the whole number part and 43 is the decimal part, right? And this point is our decimal point. Next, decimal places. The places after the decimal point are called decimal places. What does it mean? It means 7.58, this is a decimal number, right? After the decimal point, count the places after the decimal point. Here we have two decimal places, 10th place and 100th place, right? So in this number has two decimal places. 0.391. This number has three decimal places, 10th place, 100th place, 1000th place. Okay. Now let us discuss about like decimals and unlike decimals. So what are like decimals? The decimals numbers have same number of decimal places are called like decimals. For example, 0.391, 1.452, 6.341. Here all these numbers have three decimal places, right? 10th place, 100th place, 1000th place. Here also 10th place, 100th place, 1000th place, right? 0.1, 0.4, 1.2. These three numbers, these three decimal numbers are also examples of like decimals. Why? Because all these numbers has only one decimal place, only 10th decimal place. But if we consider this number and 0.4, then these two numbers are not like decimals, because here in this number we have three decimal places, but in this number here we have only one decimal places. So these two numbers are not like decimals. Okay? So this type of decimal numbers are called unlike decimals. What? Unlike decimals. Okay. So here in your exercise 5.4 question number 2, here look at these decimal numbers 0.5 and 0.42, right? So here in 0.5 this it has only one decimal place, but this number 0.42 has two decimal places, right? So these are not like decimals. Okay, so we have to convert these numbers into like decimals. So how can I do that? First, look at here, 1.4. Here 1 is the whole number and 4 is our decimal part, right? So this number is equivalent to 1.40 or 1.400. We can add zeros after the last decimal place, then these two numbers are equivalent. Okay, now here we have only one decimal place, right? But this number has two decimal places. This number has three decimal places, right? So after this decimal point, the last digit is 4, right? Because here it has only one decimal place. So 4 is our last digit after decimal point. So we can add 0 after the last decimal place. Okay? So suppose you have 42. Then this number is equivalent to 1.420 or 1.4200, because here in this number it has two decimal places, right? 10th place, 100th place. So the last digit after decimal point is 2, which is the 100th place. So we can add 0 or zeros after the last digit, after the last decimal place. Okay, is it clear? Now look at here. We can write 0.5 as 0.50. This type of decimal numbers are known as equivalent decimal numbers. What? Equivalent decimal numbers. Now this number, look at this number. This number has two decimal places, and 0.42 also has two decimal places, which means 0.42 and 0.50 both are like decimals. So we can convert 0.5 to 0.50. Okay? So 0.50, 0.42. Come to our next question number B. Here first number 1.42, which means 1 is our whole number part and 42 is the decimal part, right? Which means this number has two decimal places. But look at this number 1.5. This number has only one decimal place, which means we have to convert this number into two decimal places. So 1.5 is equivalent to last digit after decimal point is 5, which is the 10th place. So we can write 1.50, right? These two numbers are equivalent. Okay? So take 1.50, then 1.42 and take 1.50 in place of 1.5. Then these two numbers are like decimals. Next, 9.215, right? Which means this number has three decimal places: 10th place, 100th place, 1000th place. But 9.3, this number has only one decimal place, which means we have to convert this number 9.3 to three decimal places number. Okay? So 9.3, write 9.3. The last digit after decimal point is 10th place, which is 3. So add 1 0 and 1 more 0, because this number has 3 decimal places. So we have to make this number 3 decimal places. Okay, that's why we are taking 2 more zeros. Then this number 9.300 and this number 9.215 both are like decimals. Now next we have to learn how can we arrange or compare two decimal numbers. Here in question number 3, you have to arrange the following in order of from least to greatest. Okay? So first we have to learn how can we compare two decimal numbers. So first consider 9.43. Okay? And consider 8.36. Both are decimal numbers, right? Now, this part is our whole number part. So, in this number, 9 is our whole number part. And in this number, 8 is our whole number part, right? So, first, compare this whole number part. Now, we know 9 is bigger than 8, right? So clearly 9.43 is greater than 8.36. Is it clear? First consider the whole number part. Okay? So first compare this whole number part. Here we have 9, but here we have 8, right? And 9 is more than 8. Clearly, we know that 9 is more than 8, which means 9.43 is greater than 8.36. Similarly, if we consider 28.13 and 53.13, okay? First step is to consider the whole number part from these two numbers. Here 28 is our whole number part and 53 is our whole number, right? Now clearly 53 is more than 28. So clearly 53.13 is more than 28.13. Okay? Now if we consider 28.13 and 28.36. Here both are equal, right? Here the whole number is 28 and here also the whole number is 28, right? So next, if the whole number part is equal, then our next step is to compare the first decimal place, which is the 10th place, right? So after this decimal point, the first place is 10th place, right? So first compare if these two numbers are equal. If this part, this whole number part is equal, then compare the 10th place. Here in 10th place, in this number we have 1, right? But here in this number 10th place we have 3 and 3 is more than 1, which means 28.36 is more than 28.13. Now if the 10th place is also equal, suppose consider 28.33 and 28.36. Here the whole number part is equal and also the 10th place is also equal. Then compare the 100th place. If the 10th place is equal, then compare the 100th place. Here in 100th place, in this number we have 3, but here in 100th place we have 6, right? And 6 is more than 3, which means this number 28.36 is more than 28.33. Okay? So now solve this question. Here we have to arrange the following in order from least to greatest. So our numbers are 2.04. Next 24.6 and next 23.5. So first consider the whole number part from all these numbers. So in our first number 2 is our whole number, second number 24 and third number 23. Now clearly we know that 24 is more than 23 and 2, right? So we have to arrange these numbers from least to greatest, which means 2 is less than 24 and 23. So first write, this is the answer of question A. So first 2.04. Next 23 is less than 24, right? So next write 23.5 and after that 24.6. Okay? And now come to question number D. Here we have 0.13, 0.18 and 0.11. Okay? So all these numbers, the whole number part is 0, right? So next compare the 10th place, which means after the decimal point the first place, which is 10th place. So here in this number we have 1 in 10th place. In this number also we have 1 in 10th place and here also we have 1, right? So all these are equal. Next come to our 100th place. Here we have 3 in 100 place. Here we have 8 in 100 place. But here we have 1 in 100 place. And 1 is less than 3 and 8. Which means this is our least number. So write 0.11 first. Next 3 is less than 8. Right? So write 0.13 next and after that 0.18, which means 0.11 is least among these 3 numbers and 0.18 is the greatest among these 3 decimal numbers. Now a decimal number can be expanded in 3 ways. First one, place value form, next fractional form and next decimal form. So here in question number 1 you have to expand these 2 numbers. Okay, so first put this number in place value chart. Okay, so first 14.8. So first put this point. Here in whole number part we have 14, right? Which means 1 tens, 4 ones and 8 after the decimal point, which means the first place after the decimal point, which is 10th place. Now expand this number. First place value form. So 1 tens plus 4 ones plus after the decimal point 8 tens. So write 8 tens. Okay, this is the place value form of a decimal number. The whole number part can be written as it is. Take 1 tens plus 4 ones and after part of this decimal point, here we have only 1 decimal place, right? Which is 8. Which means after this decimal point the first place is 10th place. That's why here we have written 8 tens. Okay. Next, fractional form. 14, which means 4 tens. right? So write this whole number part as 1 tens plus 4 ones. So 4 into 1 plus 8 tens, which means 8 into 1 by 10. And next, decimal form. So 1 tens, 10 plus 4 ones, 4 plus, now 8 into 10, which means 8 by 10, and we know that we can write 8 by 10 as 0.8. Here in denominator we have only 1 0, that's why we are taking this decimal point at 1 decimal place. So write here 0.8. Next, 25.75. Again put this number 25.75. So 25, which means 2 tens, 5 ones, 0.75, which means 7 in 10th place and 5 in hundredths place. Okay. Now the place value form. Okay. Here we have 2 tens, right? So write 2 tens plus 5 ones plus, after the decimal point, first place is 10th place. So 7 tens plus 5 hundredths. Okay, this is the place value form. Next, fractional form. Again 2 tens, which means 2 into 10 plus 5 ones. So 5 into 1 plus 7 tens. So place value of 7 is 7 into 1 by 10 plus 5 hundredths, which means 5 into 1 by 100. Now write it as decimal form. So 2 into 10, 20 plus 5 into 1, 5 plus 7 into 1 by 10. 7 into 1 by 10, which means 7 by 10. So we can write it as 0.7 because here in the denominator we have 10, right? So write here 0.7 plus 5 into 1 by 100, which means 5 by 100. Now look at the denominator. Here we have 2 zeros followed by 1, right? So we have to place this decimal point before 2 decimal places. So 0, 5. Now in denominator we have only 1 digit, right? That's why we are taking 0 here, because we have to put this decimal point at 2 decimal places, because in the denominator we have 2 zeros. That's why we are taking this 0 at 10th place. So 0.05. This is our decimal form of this number. Next, write the given number in standard form. 2 into 1000. So put it in the thousands place. Next, 4 into tens, which means we have 0 in hundredths place. Next, in 10th place, here 4 into 10, which means 4 in 10th place. Then 6 into 1, which means 6 ones plus 1 into 1 by 10. So this part is the decimal part of this number. Okay, so 1 into 1 by 10. So 1 in 10th place. Next, 9 into 1 by 100. So 9 in 100th place. And next, again 1 into 1 by 1000, which means 1 in thousands place. So our number is 20246.191. This is the standard form of this number. Now we will learn how to add 2 or 3 decimal numbers. So first, here we have to add 9.04 and 3.218. Now look at these two numbers. In our first number, we have only 2 decimal places. But in this number, we have 3 decimal places, right? So these two numbers are unlike decimals. First, we have to convert these two numbers into like decimals. So, write 9.04 as 9.04 and take 1 more 0. We know that these two numbers are equivalent. So, consider 9.040 in place of 9.04. So, this is our ones place, this is 10th place, 100th place and 1000th place. Now put this number, first put this point just under this decimal point, okay? Next, this is our decimal part and this is our whole number part, right? So here in our whole number part we have only 3 and only 1 digit, which is 3, which means write 3 in 1's place, just below 9. Okay. Next, put 2 in 10th place, 1 in 100th place and 8 in 1000th place. Now add 0 plus 8, 8, 4 plus 1, 5, 0 plus 2, 2 and 9 plus 3, 12. Okay. Now insert this decimal point just under these two decimal points. Okay. So this is a sum of these two numbers, where 12 is our whole number part and 258 is our decimal part. Next, consider these two numbers. Here also we have 3 decimal places, but in this number we have 2 decimal places. So first convert this decimal number into 3 decimal places. So 27.68. Write it as 27.68. Take 1 0 after the last digit, which is 8. After the last digit of the decimal places. Okay. So here 8 is our last digit after this decimal point. So take 0 after 8. Only 1 0 because here in this number we have 3 decimal places. That's why we are taking only 1 0. Now write this number 27.680. 27, which means 2 tens, 7 ones, decimal point, 6 tens, 8 hundreds, 0 thousands. Now put this number 12 in 1 in 10 place and 2 in 1's place. Point, decimal point, 0, 0, 4. Now add 4 plus 0, 4, 8 plus 0, 8, 6 plus 0, 6. Point. Just under these 2 points. Okay? Now add the whole number part. 7 plus 2, 9, 2 plus 1, 3. So, this is our answer. This is the sum of 39.684 is our sum of these two numbers. Next, here we have to add 3 decimal numbers. Now, look at this first number. Here we have only 7, which means here we have only the whole number part, which means we can write 7.0. 7 is equivalent to 7.0 or 7.00. We can take as many zeros as we need. Okay? So all these numbers are equivalent. Now consider, now look at these two numbers. Here we have only one decimal place, and in this number also we have one decimal place. That which means we have to take 7.0, only one decimal place. Next write 3.5. Next 1.2. 5 plus 2, 7. 7 plus 3, 10 plus 1, 11. So our answer is 11.7. So here we have to put the correct digit in these boxes. Okay? So first, the sum is 1, right? Our first digit is 2. So if we add 9 with 2, it will give us 11, right? So write 1 here and take this 1 and add with 6. It will give us 7. Now 7 plus 4, 11. So again 1 is here. Take this again 11. So 1 is here. Now take this 1 here. Now 1 plus 2. So 1. Now take this 1 here. So 1 plus 1, 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Now this part, 3 plus 4 is 7. Next, 6 plus 8, 14. Again 1, take this 1 and add with 9. It will give us 10. Now 10 plus 5 is 15, right? So write here 5. Again take 1 here and add with 2. So 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. Next 1. Here we have 2, right? So if we add 1 with 1, it will give us 2. So write here 1. Here we have to find the difference between these two numbers, which means we have to subtract the smaller number from the bigger one. Now subtract the smaller number from the bigger one as you do with whole numbers. Okay? So 6 here 6 is more than 3, right? So assume here 13. So after 6, 7. Now take this 1 and subtract from 8. It will give us 7, right? Now again 7 is smaller than 8. So assume here 17. Now 8 minus 17, 9. Next again take this 1 here and subtract from 8. Again it will give us 7, right? So assume here again 17 and 8 minus 17, 9. Now again take this number and subtract from 6, which means 5. Now 1 minus 5 is 4. Now insert the decimal point in this difference just directly below these decimal numbers of these two, just below of these two decimal point of these two numbers. Do you understand? Just insert the decimal point in this difference directly below of these two decimal points. So our answer is 49.97. Here also first subtract these two numbers as you do with whole numbers. So first assume here 14. So 8 minus 14, 6. Take this 1, 0. So assume here 10. Now 6 minus 10, 4. Again take this 1 and subtract from 2, 1. Now 0 minus 1, 1.0 minus 5, which means 5, which means 5. Now insert the decimal point just below of these two decimal points here. So our difference is 5.146. Now next in question number 3, here first A. Subtract 9.456 from 10. Now 10 is a whole number, right? And 9.456. In this number, it has 3 decimal places. So we have to write 10 as 10.123 Why? Because this number has 3 decimal places. That's why we are writing 10 as 10.000. Now these two numbers are like decimals. Okay? So first our bigger number is 10.000. So first write this number. Next 9.456. Now subtract. Now 6 minus 10, 4. Again take this 1. Assume 0 as 10 and subtract this 1. So it will give us 9. So 5 minus 9, 4. Now again assume 0 as 10. So 4 minus 10, 6. Again take this 1. Again take this 1 here. So 9, 10 minus 1, 9. 9 minus 9, 0. Okay. So now insert this point just under these two decimal points. So our answer is 0.644. This is the difference between these two numbers. Which means if we have to find the difference between any two decimal numbers, our first step is to convert those decimal numbers into like decimal numbers and then subtract as you do with whole numbers and then insert the decimal point just below of these two decimal points. Next question. Subtract question number C. Subtract 99.09 from 100. Again, write 100 as 100.00. Because 99.09 in this number, it has 2 decimal places. That's why we are taking 2 zeros here. Now write the bigger number first and 99 here, and now subtract. 9 plus 9 minus 10, 1. Again assume 0 as 10 and subtract this 1, so it will give us 9, right? Now 0 minus 9, 9. Now 9 minus, again assume here 10, so 9 minus 10, 1. Again take this 1 and subtract from 10, it will give us 9. And 9 minus 9, 0. So our answer is 1.91. 1.91. Insert this decimal point just below of these 2 decimals. Now, one important thing need to know that if we add 0 with a decimal number, suppose 25.051, it will give us the number itself, which means if we add 0 with any decimal number, it will give us the number itself. Similarly, if we subtract 0 from any decimal number, again it will give us the number itself. Okay? In our next class, we will learn how to multiply or divide 2 decimal numbers. Thank you, students.